All right, what is up, Guffers? Welcome to Grown Up Fantasy Football. Today I'm going over the top rookie wide receivers that were drafted in the first round of the 2021 NFL Draft, and I'm speculating on when I believe they will step up into their roles and start for the teams they were drafted by. Before we get started, remember to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter for more NFL and fantasy football content. All right, kick things off. We have quarterback Trevor Lawrence, who was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars, number 1 overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. He's quarterback out of Clemson, won the national championship in 2018. He's your prototype quarterback, 6'6", 213. He threw through over 10,000 yards in college and 90 touchdowns. They drafted this guy to play day one. Minshew mania is over. Lawrence is locked and loaded, started for week 1. It'd be a mistake not to. Makes no sense not to. He's ready to play. I think the Jaguars realize that. I think that's why they drafted him so high, and I believe he will be the starter week 1. All right, next up we have quarterback Zach Wilson, drafted by the New York Jets, 2nd overall pick. Quarterback out of BYU, 6'3", 214, threw for 7,600 yards in college, 56 touchdowns. This is another easy one. Just look at the Jets' depth chart. They have James Morgan and Mike White as the other quarterbacks on their roster right now. Now, I'm not ashamed not to admit I don't even know who those guys are. No way they play over Zach Wilson. They drafted him this high. There's no competition on the roster. He has to start week 1. It will be definitely interesting to see how he does in his first season. The offensive roster got a little bit better. They got Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Keelan Cole, Jameson Crowder, Elijah Moore on the wide receiver depth chart, Tevin Coleman in the backfield now. I feel like he has some weapons throughout the season, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes week 1 for these guys. Next up, number 3 overall draft pick in the NFL Draft, quarterback Trey Lance by the San Francisco 49ers. He's a quarterback out of North Dakota State, 6'4", 224. This was kind of a surprise draft pick for a lot of people. I think most people believe the 49ers were trading up to get either Justin Fields or Mac Jones. But Shanahan went with a guy who's kind of risky. Super athletic guy, very talented, but he only has 318 snaps under his belt in college, so not a ton of experience. He's only 20 years old. This is a little tough. I do not believe Trey Lance will start week 1. Just not enough experience yet. I think Jimmy Garoppolo holds on to this job either until they gets injured, which he very well might because he's pretty injury prone, and then or if they hit a losing streak. I think Trey Lance gets the job week 5 or week 6, either from an injury or them just not doing well. But I think he will definitely start this season. And that'd be great for fantasy if he does, because I think he's a super athletic quarterback, and in Shanahan's system, he could have a lot of success. So I'm going to go with week 6. He becomes the starter, Trey Lance. Next up, we have quarterback Justin Fields, drafted by the Chicago Bears with an 11th overall pick. Quarterback from Ohio State. He's 6'3", 228. Played 2 seasons as a starter for the Ohio State. He has 5,700 pass yards, 67 passing touchdowns. He was an early Heisman candidate this past college football season in 2020. Now, this is a little tricky one because this is a crowded quarterback room. You have Andy Dalton, who they brought in this year, and he's listed as the number 1 quarterback on the depth chart right now. There's also Nick Foles. He's actually listed as 3rd on the depth chart right now. Justin Fields is number 2 on the depth chart. But there's no way this is going to last, in my opinion. Dalton will not improve this Bears team, at least not drastically. I believe that they will hit a losing stretch, and there will be too much pressure to start Fields. Fields is an electric player, athletic QB. He is going to make plays. I believe he will end up starting at some point in this season. Looking at their schedule, it's pretty tough. I think they lose to Green Bay in week 6, and that's when the pressure hits the coaching staff to start Fields, and he becomes the starter week 7. And it's his job from there on out. Andy Dalton's not going to have a winning season for this team, so Justin Fields will start at some point this season. All right, last but not least, the last quarterback drafted in the NFL draft this past year, quarterback Mac Jones from Alabama, drafted by the New England Patriots, 15th overall, 6'3", 217, 2020 National Championship winner. He was also in the running for the Heisman during the year. He threw for 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions during this past 2021 college football season. Amazing stats. He led one of the greatest college football offenses we have ever seen. Granted, he had a lot of help with a ton of talented wide receivers and running backs and offensive line, but still, great season. I think he landed in the perfect situation with Belichick and the Patriots. When the Patriots were on the clock, I think everyone knew it was just too perfect of a pick not to happen. He's a very similar play style to Tom Brady coming out in college, but he's not going to start week 1. Belichick runs a complex offense. I don't think Mac Jones will be ready to run that offense week 1. Maybe not even this season. They brought Cam Newton back for another year. Cam Newton is going to start week 1. I can see this playing out in a lot of different ways. I see a world where the Patriots actually have a decent season with Cam Newton and Jones doesn't get to play at all. But Newton is also injury prone. He got hurt this past year. Seems like he gets hurt every year he plays. That may force Mac Jones to come in early and become the starter and take over. That could happen as early as week 3, week 4. They might have another mediocre season. Mac Jones ends up playing the starter at the later half of the season, just from pressured stardom with a non-successful team. I'm going to go down the middle and say Mac Jones becomes the starter week 8. Either mediocre season or Cam Newton gets hurt. That's how he becomes the starter. Belichick's not going to make the decision to start him week 1 over Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton is the starter. And if they keep playing well, Cam Newton's going to be the starter all season. So it's going to be interesting, but I'll go with week 8. Mac Jones becomes the starter for New England Patriots. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comment section when you think these quarterbacks who were drafted in the first round will start for their teams. Maybe they'll start earlier than I'm saying. Maybe they'll end up starting later. Who knows? Let me know your opinion down in the comments section. Thanks again for watching. Grow up, subscribe, and get guffed.